This is just a friendly reminder to subscribe to the channel because when we hit 100 subscribers, we will be doing a $25 random giveaway. So make sure to subscribe, like the video, and hit that bell.
What's up, guys? We're back again, trying this again, hitting the record button this time, and we're here with our redraft fantasy podcast, and we're going to look at some free agents and some hopeful landing spots for them. And as usual, introducing again, we're here with our father, Jeff, and my brother and his son, Brian. How's it going, guys? Again, we
fantastic.
Yeah.
Better now than I was 10 minutes ago.
Boomer up.
Yeah. Boomer up. So we were talking about Derek Carr when I realized the record button wasn't hit. So basically, we're kind of, I mean, it's an upgrade for the Saints, is what we said, but I don't know, it doesn't move the needle too much for me. And Brian, it sounds like you kind of feel the same about that.
Yeah. What I was going to ask you, Dad, because you mentioned like he's the best in the AFC South as far as quarterbacks go now. Like so if Jimmy G goes to Tampa Bay. Like, so what is like? Do you still have the same opinion? Like, is he a better quarterback than Carr? Or
I think I don't think. First off, I think Kyle Trask is going to be the Tampa Bay quarterback. So I
hope
don't.
So.
Well, I think it's going to happen. I think Bruce Arians has already said, he's already come out and said he's our guy. He said that.
I think they said that he was going to give him a chance.
What's going on with that, by the way?
Well, that means, you give him a chance. He's our guy right now.
Yeah.
So what else? Real quick. What else do you need to say?
Not to change the subject, but is Bruce Arians like what is his role with the Buccaneers? I know he was the coach.
He's in the front office now.
Consultant on a team, and he was on some podcast, and
now, Mike's asking what his role is because he's obviously not the coach anymore, but
he's a consultant.
He's in the front office to some capacity now.
Yeah, and he was on a podcast.
It's just a strange situation, in my opinion. Like, you're not the coach.
I read the information on reputable stuff.
No, I get. I'm not.
Yeah, Mike's just asking like what Arians what is his position in the Tampa Bay franchise now?
He's a consultant, so he has been. So he says Trask is the guy right now, and Tampa Bay does not. They don't have money to be go out and blow money on Jimmy G. They're in salary cap hell.
I mean, neither did the Saints though, and then they just got Carr for.
Okay, well.
No, I don't know.
I mean, now you're changing the subject, so I don't know what you want to say.
I'm just saying, like the salary cap hell thing. Like I thought the Saints were in more of it, kind of a thing, and they just made something happen. So
okay.
Yeah, you can always you can twist it to push it down the line, and that's kind of what the Saints been doing. It feels like for the last several years. So. I don't know. Maybe Kyle Trask is the guy. I take things with a grain of salt about things said in February that people talking about things that are going to happen in September, in February. So I think Trask will definitely have an opportunity to compete. But
we gotta speculate. We have to speculate on what we know. That's what we're doing right now. Here it is, March 10th. We're speculating what's happening based upon the information that we have. So,
was Trask a second round guy? Drafted
second round guy.
Okay, and he sat behind Brady for what, 2 years or just one? Two, right?
2 years.
I think it's been.
Yeah.
I think it's been 3
years.
3?
Maybe, 2 or 3. But he was a second round pick out of Florida, and.
Well, hopefully he learned something.
2021 draft, so 2 years. Yeah, hopefully. But anyways,
the scary part about Trask, and I know we've gotten way off subject because we were talking about Derek Carr, but Trask was never he was never in uniform for game day. So there was always
Yeah.
the second,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's to be seen. So training camp starts. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll pay attention to that.
I think he played in like a preseason game or 3 last year.
Yes, he should.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see what happens with him.
Yeah. He threw 9 passes last year, but that doesn't mean much necessarily. They know what they have in him to a certain extent. So
I still
but
think
yeah,
Derek
overall-
Carr is the best quarterback in the AFC South right now.
NFC South, yeah. Yeah,
NFC
I
South. Yeah.
agree with that, but not saying too much, I guess. But I don't know, doesn't move the needle. It just, to me, I understand from Dennis Allen's point of view, the head coach. He's going to be out without a job if they don't win. But it's almost like, okay, so you want to be near 500 again and have a middle of the road draft pick and maybe make the playoffs. I don't know. But anyways, moving on
Honestly,
to the big news that
I'd be a little bit more excited about Carr if he went to Tampa Bay, honestly. Like, I feel like they still have like the pieces in place to kind of like win the division like pretty easily. Does that make them good? I don't think so. But
I think
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's good
Let's
for
move on
Olave.
to the next topic.
Yeah, I think it's good for Olave. The next big thing that happened today was the big trade that happened. So Carolina is taking a quarterback number 1 overall in this year's draft. The betting favorite is that it's CJ Stroud from Ohio State. That's what Vegas has as the most likely option. And one of the things the Bears got back in return, fantasy relevancy, is DJ Moore. So DJ Moore is no longer a Panther. He is a Chicago Bear. So Dad, I'll start with you. What does that do for you for DJ Moore? Is it better, worse, same? And we'll start with DJ Moore. What's that do for you?
Yeah, obviously DJ Moore is probably the best wide receiver on the Bears right now, even though Claypool and Moody, they should be right behind him. So hopefully those guys can then, they can all do very well for the Bears, so they can establish some kind of passing game with the Kmet. And if I was the Bears, I'd still be drafting a wide receiver. If it's a heavy wide receiver class. Definitely good for the Panthers. They've been trying, they tried to get Matt Stafford a few years back. They were in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes last year. So, they've been running with Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield and all these other slugs who just haven't been doing it. So they got, hired a whole new, very, very veteran coaching staff, including the head coach. So they're going to have all the right guys to help bring along the new guy, whoever that is. But
so does it for DJ Moore? Does it make you more excited or less excited for him?
Well, I'm not. If I was in a fantasy draft, and there'd have to be a lot there for me to take DJ Moore. So
yeah.
What round do you think?
What, 4th round, 5th round?
Yeah, I can't even speculate.
7.
No, not a 4th round. Maybe a
Okay.
6th or 7th round or something like that for me.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Brian, how do you feel about?
Yeah, honestly, like
DJ?
that's exactly how I feel about Moore too. Like, I feel like I've been hearing about him and like all the speculation about like the talent and all that stuff, and I feel like the guy can't get a good quarterback. Like, not to say like Fields is not a good quarterback, but fantasy wise, but like, I mean, Chicago's not throwing the ball. I mean, that's not their identity. That they want to run it. Maybe that changes this year. I don't know. Like maybe they actually have some receivers But I mean, like I had the like the Bears guys on my fantasy team last year, and it was kind of like, really, like 14 passes or like whatever it was, like, I mean, it was definitely less than 20 a game, like average. I was pulling it up as we're talking right here. It's like, okay, well, it looks
Yeah,
like
make
it
some
looks like,
moves.
yeah, Fields threw less than just under 320 times a game, or sorry, 320 times in the season last year.
Yeah.
I know he did miss a couple of games, but I mean, even if you average that out, I mean, that's like that it's less than 20, or right around 20. So it's kind of like, like even if DJ Moore gets, like a 50% target share, it's like, oh, there's 10 passes for you, like, and that's not going to happen, kind of a thing, like.
Yeah.
Well, things
I
change.
Big
I
thing.
mean, they get an offensive line. They get it better. They got the most money in free agency to spend. They got all this draft capital.
Right.
Hopefully they're going to get better. It's too bad. I mean, the defense is even horrible on that team. So, they're going to have to rebuild a lot. But
well, that's good for fantasy, though, right? Like you want the offense to be good,
but
and you want the
is
defense to be bad.
Yeah. Well, you want. Yeah. So I'm not taking for DJ Moore, I'm not taking a chance. Unless
Not in the fourth round, definitely not. Like maybe
no,
sixth or seventh round. Definitely wide receiver 3.
I also don't think
with upside.
Yeah. I also don't think he lasts that long as well, but I don't know. He's a wide receiver 2 with, to me, not a lot of upside to be higher than that. So it's going to come down to touchdowns, I think, more than anything. And but I mean, overall for the Bears, I mean, I think I like it for Justin Fields because now they have a good receiving core there, and so I think I don't know how much higher Fields can go on the quarterback ranking. He's already pretty high, but I mean, it should be good for the Bears overall. Now you have Claypool and Kmet and Mooney and DJ Moore. So,
Moore's
the Panthers. I mean, does it do anyone
drafted? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I agree with that. He's
definitely the first one to get drafted, but I mean, well, actually, that's not even true because Fields will get drafted before Moore does. Like, I think, anyways. Like, even in like in standard like home leagues, I guess I hear all the experts talk about like the difference between like the analysts, like how they draft quarterbacks versus like how they actually get drafted. I mean, we see quarterbacks like by the 5th round, like 8 out of the 12 teams in our leagues normally have quarterbacks already easily.
Yeah.
Like maybe even like 10 out of the 12. So
yeah, he'll go high, Fields, and I mean for the Panthers, Terrace Marshall, I guess, is wide receiver 1 right now. We got to see what they do in the off season, but it's not looking great for whoever's going to be quarterbacking that team that first year at least.
They should trade down.
Yeah, right. Trade down and get more, but we'll see. We'll see who goes there. It'll be interesting to see, if it comes out who they're going to take. Usually, you'll know who the first pick's going to be before the draft starts. So, but yeah, I think we should get into some free agents and maybe just a team that you'd maybe like to see them go to. And it's not a great free agency class, I'd say. But we can start with quarterbacks, and he's not really a free agent, but he just seems like he's going to be on the move. Aaron Rodgers seems like the Jets. I mean, does that seem like a good fit for you? You guys think that's a good fit for
not really.
him fantasy-wise or for the players on that team for fantasy?
Yeah. I think the numbers will be there. good for Garrett Wilson and the other pass catchers. If there's some kind of running game, I think it'll be okay. Personally, I'm tired of hearing about it, so I hope it turns into a mess for the Jets. So
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers anymore.
yeah, I'm tired of hearing about him, and it's probably more the media than him. But
Yeah. I'd be interested to see, like, I mean, how far up the draft board does Garrett Wilson move if Rodgers does go there? I mean, like, and even Hall, Brees Hall.
I'd say pretty.
Well, he should.
Pretty high.
Garrett Wilson should be the Devontae Adams.
Well, yeah,
Like,
that's why I'm kind of bringing those two up, because I mean, like, that's your Devontae Adams and your Aaron Jones kind of a situation, like.
Yeah. Brees Hall, we don't know about his knee situation, so
Yeah.
No, I think it would take Garrett Wilson. I mean, I would definitely be taking him over DJ Moore, for call back to what we were just talking about. And I could see him easily, if Rodgers goes there, being a fourth round pick in fantasy.
I got to
Maybe
assume
someone takes him
he
higher.
might even be he might be fourth round already. I haven't I don't know about ADP and all that shit right now, but
Yeah, I mean, without a quarterback, yeah, people are afraid of that, I guess.
yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, Rodgers, like, there's plenty of places for him to go. I guess, well, not plenty, but I don't know. Like, I mean, the guy can still do it, obviously, but I wouldn't be
cap space on teams too. He's expensive, so there isn't.
Yeah, I mean,
he's got to kind of want to go there too, So
I mean, just to go back to like what we were talking about, like, what if he did go to Tampa Bay? Like, they've got receivers, they got a young running back, they got the line to protect him. Like what if he went there for 1 year? Team friendly contract, or they kick it down the road, kind of a thing. It's like, all right, like, do what Brady did, go there, fucking win it, and retire. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think they're looking. Teams are going to be looking for like a 2-year commitment or something like that. It's not a lot of things on Tampa Bay. They've released a lot. They released their left tackle. So they don't have much room for getting new players. So
yeah, I know, but
I can't see the Buccaneers being ready for anything, to tell you the truth.
I mean, honestly, like, if they don't make any kind of moves, like, as far as like Godwin and Evans go, it seems like they're gonna try and like run it back one more time. I mean, we saw what happened the last 2 years as far as that goes. But I don't know. Like, they could try and like hold on to it for one more year, I guess.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I don't think it's the smart move, honestly. Like, I think they should trade Evans and even Godwin and like just start like blowing it up, like get some picks and try and figure it out.
We were talking about Rodgers.
Well, yeah, I was talking about Rodgers going there, though.
Yeah. I don't know if he would even want to go. Green Bay has to be willing to trade him as well. And I don't know if they want to trade him to an NFC team, trade him away to the AFC. But I was looking at some ADP this is for best ball, because those are the kind of the drafts that are happening right now. Garrett Wilson is going pick 22. So
wow,
second round. He's going second round.
Yeah,
in
late
12
second. Yeah.
Yeah. So he would maybe moves up a little bit, but you can't move up much more than that. So maybe that's a lot of people speculating Rodgers is already going to go there, because it's best ball. So But anyways, we'll move on to one more quarterback, Garoppolo. Is there somewhere you guys would want to see Dad? Anywhere you'd want to see Garoppolo go to?
Personally, I'd prefer to see him go to the Jets, but that's probably not going to happen the way things are going to pan out. So, I don't know what teams are. The Raiders.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Raiders. Why not?
I'm not sure Garoppolo is a huge, a huge upgrade. It's like, why did you get rid of Carr and you bring Jimmy G in, and you're probably going to pay more money? So some of that doesn't make sense. But that's kind of the way. Seems like the chips are falling.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying. I think that was in the first recording that didn't get recorded, as far as Carr going to the Saints. It's like, I don't know how much of an upgrade he really is over like the combo of Jameis and Dalton. It's kind of like, I mean, Jimmy G could have easily gone there, and it's kind of like,
you
I think
say
it's kind of
Derek
a
Carr
move.
is not an upgrade over Andy Dalton.
I mean, I don't think it's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, I don't think so, honestly.
Maybe from a fantasy point perspective, it is, but from like the Saints, is he gonna, for how much you're paying him versus how much you could have paid Dalton? I don't really see much of a huge difference. Dalton actually was pretty good last year, better than I think people realize, but fantasy wise, I think Carr's better. But yeah, Garoppolo to the Raiders seems to make sense. Getting back to that.
I just feel like it's all kind of like lateral moves, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't watch the game the same way you guys do. Like, I don't have the experience and stuff, and I don't know how to really evaluate these guys properly. So
no, I mean,
just watch and see how they play.
I think you do more than you realize, but getting back to the Garoppolo stuff, I mean, the connection with Josh McDaniels is there, and the Patriots Garoppolo connection. So that's why I think a lot of people are saying that, and it's either that or he kind of goes to a team, one of these teams that are going to draft a quarterback, and he's kind of the bridge for a year. A team that's going to draft Bryce Young or Richardson or Levis.
He should go to the Cardinals and play 6 games while fucking Kyler's getting better.
Maybe, but I think it'd be okay for the Raiders. Yeah, better than what they have now. Who else are they going to get?
Yeah,
kind of. It's like Stidham, and that's kind of all. They do have a pretty high draft pick, but yeah, I mean, they could draft like a Levis and get Garoppolo for a year, and there you go. But other than that, I mean, who else needs a quarterback? There's no one really. I mean, Washington. You want to say why? Does that make any sense? Garoppolo to Washington.
Yeah, I mean, you got Carson Wentz on where's their draft pick? You guys know?
No, Wentz is released.
Yeah, he got released, but I mean, they've been kind of doing what the Colts have been doing the last few years, like playing the merry-go-round of like, let's get someone in here and see if they can do it. But I mean,
yeah, Washington's 16th, by the way.
Okay, yeah, so they're not getting one of the top 4, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I guess maybe, but I don't know. But even if they got Richardson or Levis, like, who are they putting in front of them to like actually start the season, kind of a thing? Like, are they going to get Baker? Are they going to get Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement, or what? Right. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the solution there is. I mean, because Washington has like they definitely got the skeleton of a team. Like they can put the stuff together. Like, I mean, they got decent receivers. They got good running backs and stuff. They got the defense.
Yep.
So throw someone in there.
For the sake of for time, I think we'll move on to running backs and just talk about maybe a couple of bigger names. I guess Miles Sanders is the biggest running back free agent. I mean, you guys, I don't know if you
I'd
guys
say
agree with that
Kareem
or not,
Hunt.
him or David Montgomery.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I'd say
I mean,
Hunt.
it's just what did we see from Hunt last year, and like, there wasn't much that we saw from Hunt. I don't know. I'm always afraid. I think of Allen Robinson now when I see you see a player a little bit older who was basically he played a lot of games. He played in 17 games last year, Kareem Hunt, and did nothing. Like absolutely nothing. So that always just worries me.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of an interesting sort of situation that happened because everyone thought he was going to get traded at the deadline last year, and they obviously they didn't trade him. The Browns didn't trade him, but then they didn't use him even after that. Like they shied away from using him leading up to the trade, so it kind of to the deadline rather. So it seemed like, oh, we don't want him to get hurt. Let's see what we can get from him, and
Yeah.
and they got nothing, and then they didn't even use him. So I don't know. I don't know if that's like locker room stuff or whatever happened. Like, but it was very weird, like the way his season went last year. I think
it was. But if we're thinking about 2017 Kareem Hunt, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I know he's looked good on Cleveland and split backfield and stuff, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere and be the main guy. So I think the two free agents that do have that chance, I guess, is Miles Sanders and Montgomery, and maybe Singletary. But Miles Sanders.
I think Montgomery and Singletary are the best two guys. Sanders, I know he had over 1,000 yards and all that other stuff, and he was
part of 1,300 yards.
Yeah, but
total,
he didn't catch the ball.
Yeah,
at all, to tell you the truth. So,
I thought he still had like at least 300 receiving or something. Maybe I'm not correct on that.
300 receiving yards.
No, he had 78.
Yeah.
78? Oh, geez.
Yeah. But his rookie year, he caught 50 passes, so he can. I just think Philly doesn't throw the ball to their running backs. I mean, Gainwell had 20.
Singletary is the one.
Let's before we get into that though, let's go Miles Sanders. Where would you want to see him land? Is there anywhere that he could land that you would be? I'm excited about Miles Sanders now, or is it back with Philly? Is his best spot?
I'd say throw him on the Saints, right? Like throw him some passes too. I mean, they obviously need a running back, and I mean, he's not going to be Kamara necessarily, but like he could lead the charge. Like, I don't know, like when it comes to Miles Sanders, and like you guys even brought up Singletary, like I don't know, maybe there's something I'm not seeing when I see these guys, but I just kind of feel like what's wrong with them? Like they seem to be doing their job well enough. Josh Jacobs is another guy who kind of like comes to mind where it's like, what did he ever do to like lose his job? But I mean, I can't grade these guys like the same way, or, I kind of default to, well, the NFL doesn't think they're good enough to do this. So maybe they're not good enough kind of a thing.
Again, we're talking about Miles Sanders had almost 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns, and he was RB13 and half-point PPR. Like, we're talking about a good player last year. So, like, was it just his situation? He was on the Eagles. That's why he did so well? Or I don't know. I think he still could be good next year, a top 15 guy next year. Depending on what team he goes to. I like the Saints.
Denver is going to need some running backs.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't see. Well, you think of the coach now. I don't know if I see Miles Sanders there, but I definitely see somebody like Montgomery or Singletary going to Denver.
Yeah, that's a good call because Sean Payton, every year he was like the Saints head coach. Their running back group was like top 5 in the NFL every year,
I think
almost.
Miami's going to need some running backs too.
Yeah,
I think the Cardinals too, right?
Yeah,
And the Rams, like looking at like in division there, I mean, these guys all need somebody to back up their whoever their number one's gonna be,
yeah.
Is it gonna be Connor again in Arizona? Like, I mean, I'm really curious to see like what Arizona even looks like this year. Like, I mean, because it doesn't look like
garbage.
yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they've
Probably.
looked like. They've looked good for a few weeks for the last few seasons, kind of a thing, and then everyone gets hurt, and it's kind of like,
for
all right,
sure.
well, like I don't even know if it's worth it. Well, I guess it kind of depends on like what these contracts are going to look like, but I mean, I could easily see Singletary, Montgomery, or Sanders, or even Hunt, honestly, going to Arizona and kind of backing up Connor, because he's gonna get hurt. Like, he's gonna miss some
Yeah,
games.
I think they'd be more. I think Montgomery and Singletary would be, and Sanders, they could be RB1s. So I'm not sure what the status. If Connor becomes the backup guy.
Let me lay it out. So the two best teams I heard for these guys are Denver and Miami. Those two guys, those two teams. So if out of Sanders, Montgomery, and Singletary, of those three, who would you be most excited about? So let's say if Sanders is on Denver or Singletary or Montgomery, who would you feel the best about of those three?
I'd say Sanders.
I'd say Montgomery.
Yeah, well, I was going to say I'm actually kind of split between Sanders and Singletary, honestly. I've always had a soft spot for Singletary in general. Like, I just feel like he never really got a chance in Buffalo. Like, they don't use their running backs in Buffalo. So, I mean, that's kind of a good thing for Singletary, too. It's like he's probably had like 15 rush attempts in his entire career, like
in a game, yeah.
I know. I'm just joking. Like,
in a single game, I think you meant, right?
No, I was.
Oh, you were saying,
like, I meant
okay.
total. Like, yeah. Like, I know that, like, he's had stretches. Like, I mean, the Bills, they just don't use their running backs the way we want them to for fantasy, for sure.
Yeah, and Allen takes a lot of the touchdowns.
Yeah, Josh Allen's the best running back on the team, basically. So, yeah, I'd say Singletary, honestly, over Montgomery.
I think I'd go Sanders if his 50 catch season kind of wasn't a fluke and it was more just Philadelphia not scheming their offense that way. Because again, I think of what Kamara did with the Saints under Sean Payton, and I think, who could fit that kind of role? And all these guys can catch. Singletary's had almost 40 catches, I think, the last 3 years, and obviously Montgomery can catch the ball.
Singletary's had his last 2 seasons. He's had over 800 yards, and he does. They do throw the ball to him. I'm looking at the stats right here. The last 3 years they've targeted him over 50 times. So I see Singletary. He's got
last year they targeted him over 50 times, or total.
The last 3 years they have targeted
each
him
of the last 3 years.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that.
Well, you can look up the stats.
I believe you.
The so
they can all catch for sure.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I just pulled up Singletary stats and kind of like harping on like what I was saying. It's like he never even had 200 rush attempts.
Yeah.
Like he was close the year before last, but he's kind of like in between sort of range, I guess. And it seems kind of like
Yeah.
I mean the guy's good, you know. Like I
Well,
feel the
maybe
same way about him that I
there's a
feel
there's a
about
reason.
Antonio
There's a couple of
Gibson.
reasons for that, though. Is Josh Allen obviously as part of their big time part of their running game, and maybe they don't think he can. Maybe they don't think he can handle a big, huge load. You know,
Yeah,
of
he
over
can't carry
300
it.
carries and stuff.
Yeah,
He's his yards per
Yeah, they need-
rush is all over 4.5 yards. You know, for 4 seasons, so he's gonna do well to another team. You know, he's gonna
Kansas City.
Huh?
yeah.
One of these guys becomes the next Jerick McKinnon in Kansas City.
No, they're better
Um,
than that.
Yeah, they are. Well, McKinnon had a really good year, but anyway, so you guys are on Singletary out of those three. It sounds like. Yeah, I'm gonna say Montgomery. I'm gonna say Montgomery because I've liked him since
Yeah, I think
college,
he's-
and
I think he's good too.
so yeah, I'll be interested to see where they go. And yeah, Denver and Miami, two really good and really good spots for
And the Saints.
yeah, and the Saints too. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into wide receivers, which isn't that great. I lost my list here, but I know Jacoby Myers is maybe him and Juju are considered maybe the two best free agents. I kind of like Jacoby Myers. I think he could do really well on a pretty pass-heavy team. So any team that comes to you guys' mind to see for Jacoby Myers to go to be the second guy. Obviously, he's not a number one, but be that second guy, Keenan Allen type guy for an offense where you can catch a bunch of passes.
Yeah,
Well, I heard.
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Um,
I heard Carolina needs some help.
yeah, Carolina's going to need some receivers. What is
I
the
hate
other?
that for
Tennessee Titans,
Ugh,
Minnesota
I hate all
Vikings.
these.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the
Yeah.
Vikings. I like the Vikings. I just feel
Yeah.
like Hawkinson has that role. Yeah, I like the Vikings. I could live with that. All the
Yeah.
other guys, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, just be the slot guy up there. You know,
I think the
Just-
Texans need to beef up their receivers a little bit.
That was news. Robert Woods is on the Texans. Do you guys care about? Do you guys care about that?
He signed with the Texans.
really.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
I
it
did
kinda
not
got
hear that.
missed. It got missed with the big DJ Moore Chicago trade, but
Oh shit! They should get they should get Cooper
He's
Kupp
there.
too and make it a full on reunion.
No, I mean,
Wow.
does it excite you guys
Gave
in the
him-
2-year contract?
They gave him $10 million guaranteed.
So are you excited
I
about Robert
do.
Woods?
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of funny that he went there and as like him and Brandon Cooks are gonna give each other like a high five on the way out. Like it's like, hey, what's up? Yeah, and that's it, kind of a thing.
He was really good
I don't know. I guess-
in 2021. He started off really slowly, but then I think after from week 3 until he got hurt in week 9, he was like a top 10 receiver, Robert Woods. And then he came back, went to Tennessee, recovering from an ACL. Tennessee just sucked in terms of the passing offense. So who knows?
Yeah, they didn't have one.
Yeah, but he's going to have a rookie
Um,
quarterback throwing to him most likely. So
Yeah, but that's all right. Like, I mean, just give him 10 targets a game, kind of a thing, and he'll do something with them. Yeah, he is getting older, but I mean, I don't know. I like Robert Woods. I like that whole trio of the old Rams guys. You know, like I like Kupp, Woods, and Cooks. Like they had a really good thing there those years ago when they still had Gurley and everything, and it was kind of just like in terms of fantasy, it was kind of like hard to like pick which one was gonna have the good game, you know. But
yeah,
I like that those guys are having a continued career. Like
yeah. they're still around. So Jacoby / Juju, I feel like they kind of fit the same role. So I like Jacoby Myers more, but a team I just kind of thought of right now. What about Green Bay? I mean, I think he could fit there with Watson as your big play guy and kind of your alpha, Christian Watson, and then you get Jacoby Myers
Dobbs.
there as kind of your underneath. Yeah, I mean, you got Dobbs and then Myers for Jordan Love. I don't think that's a terrible spot. Anywhere else? New York Giants. What about the Giants? You know, they need receivers.
They need all of these guys. Actually, they need Myers. They need Woods. Well, I guess he's on the team now. They need to get Odell back. They need to do it all.
I just want him on a pass heavy team. So like he has that potential, especially in PPR, I think, to be like, you know, a really solid flex type of player.
Who's that? Myers?
Yeah, Jacoby Myers.
Yeah.
So yeah, other than that, I mean, you got Alan Lazard. I guess I shouldn't leave him out. Any ideas about where he can go? He's kind of a big touchdown guy. And I have a team in mind, but I'll let you guys go first. Jets? Okay. With Rodgers?
Yeah.
All right.
Get them both.
So they get reunited.
Why not?
Yeah.
Now we want Beckham.
Yeah.
We want Beckham on the Jets with Rodgers.
Yeah, I think Beckham's done. I think he's
Yeah.
done. What about Baltimore? If they keep Lamar, they bring in Lazard. Does that excite you at all?
Yeah. They definitely need some dudes.
Would
Full
you
of
be
mediocre receivers? So
yeah?
What's
he could be like that touchdown guy.
What's Gallup's situation? Like what if he went to the Cowboys?
no, he's signed with the
Lazard?
Cowboys. So no, Gallup is
Yeah,
signed with
Gallup
the
has
Cowboys.
No, I think he's saying about Lazard going to the Cowboys.
We just asked
Yeah.
Gallup, so
Yeah, I was asking like what his situation is as far
Yeah,
as
they have to. I think they have to keep him basically one more year. There's like no point
Okay.
in cutting him this year, so he's going to be there. But I don't know. That's not really saying. I think Dallas drafts someone, or yeah.
I mean,
I like
they did last year and they
Baltimore.
didn't do anything with him.
What about the Rams? Lazard to the Rams. How would you feel about that?
Go ahead, Dad.
Not great, it seems like.
yeah, I don't have a thought on that. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Lazard fan anyway, so
they do
I
they
think-
do need some more speed. The Rams do. I don't know if
Who,
Lazard's
the Rams?
considered a. Yeah, I don't know if he's considered a speed guy. He seems like he went deep quite a bit. So, but
yeah.
he
Yeah,
signed up for a
I'm-
year or two.
I'm not super
He ran a
familiar with like
4.62, which isn't very
I'm not
fast.
super
That's
familiar
not
like
speed.
these guys like as far as like I know who they are, but like I'm just trying to think like they all seem kind of like possession guys, you know, like
Yeah,
well, besides Beckham, besides the
Lazard's like a
30-year-old.
big body guy.
Yeah,
You know, big body, good in the red zone. But I don't know. I'm not a huge Lazard fan, but I guess to kind of wrap this up, we'll get into a couple tight ends and we'll kind of make it quick. I think Dalton Schultz is the biggest one. Don't think he's going to come back to the Cowboys.
Chargers.
I think him going. Yeah, okay.
all of these guys to the Chargers.
Okay, so Schultz to the Chargers. Where does he go in the? If Schultz goes to the Chargers, where does he go in the tight end? It's Kelsey. It's Andrews. You know, Kittle, Pitts, Waller. Are you taking Schultz over any of those guys?
No,
He's
tight
like,
end.
he's like Hawkinson.
No, he'll go after Hawkinson. Hawkinson's got to be like what tight end 5 or something.
Yeah.
Schultz could be. Well, here's the problem with the free agent with Gesicki and Dalton Schultz. The NFL draft is big time tight end heavy, so these guys
Yeah.
are going to cost a lot of money. You know,
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't
I don't
want to
know.
sign him.
I wouldn't. So if I was the Chargers, I'd try and draft a guy. If you want a tight end, you better draft a guy. If they got money to throw around for Schultz, then do it.
But
Yes.
I get what you're saying, but let's just say they do sign him for you, Dad. Do you take Waller or Schultz? Who are you taking? Between
Schultz.
those two guys. You
Take Schultz over
taking
Waller? Yeah,
Hawkinson
I would do
or
that.
Schultz?
Well, who's the quarterback for the Raiders in that situation?
Let's say it's Garoppolo. Let's say
Okay.
it's Garoppolo.
Garoppolo's
Garoppolo's
good
the
at getting
quarterback.
the ball to tight ends.
Okay, so you're taking Waller over Schultz?
No,
I would
I'm taking
Waller.
Schultz. I'm taking Schultz.
I'd take Waller.
Ryan Waller? Okay. What about who's after those guys? Njoku. No, it has to be Schultz, right? Yeah, Pitts,
Yeah.
Hawkinson, you got to take all those. Evan Ingram
I
or
thought Hayden
Schultz?
Hurst was a. I thought
Oh,
Hayden
that's
Hurst.
a good one,
was-
actually. What'd you say, Dan?
Yeah, I thought Hayden Hurst out of Cincinnati was a free agent too.
Yeah, but we don't really care about
Yeah, no one
Hurst too
cares
much.
about that. The NFL doesn't care.
He's
Okay.
fantasy wise, he's maybe you start him once or something. If you are starting
I mean,
him, then maybe you have problems.
Hayden Hurst.
I
Yes.
think honestly, like Mike's got Mike Gesicki on the list also. Like I think everything that we're saying about Schultz applies to Gesicki too. Like I think like Tunyon is the third guy on the list. Like we just kind of like don't even have to really talk about him, kind of a thing. Like
Jets.
Like,
He's going to the
they're all,
Jets
like,
with Rodgers.
yeah,
Well, they say
I think they're all kind of like in the
Gesicki's
same
problem-
category.
Yeah, they say Gesicki's problem is he's not a very good blocker.
Yeah.
So don't
yeah,
ask
that's-
him to block then. All right, so he should go to Minnesota then, because they got some blockers up there for a tight end. Like just just throw him the ball.
Are you saying
Him and Hawkinson. No, just get rid of Hawkinson too. Whatever.
All right.
George Kittle
get one.
with Trey Lance. George Kittle with Trey Lance or Schultz with Justin Herbert. Who are you taking? Last one.
You gotta go. Yeah, gotta go with Kittle. Just because
No, I go with Schultz. You don't know what
Well,
Lance is
exact-
a bum.
exact same place. We're talking about like 6th, 7th round or 10th round
No, he's
or
just
what?
talking a matchup.
Yeah. Don't worry about the rounds. Just who would you prefer? Yeah, both in the 6th round. If it comes to the 6th round, they're both there. Who are you taking?
I mean Kittle. Kittle's the man.
Yeah.
I'm taking Schultz.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps it up for our free agent talk there. We don't care about Hayden Hurst. Remember that. And I think we'll next time we talk, we'll be talking kind of the aftermath of some of the free agents. A lot of probably free agency moves. So we'll see how that's changed the fantasy world. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week.